Hey, what's up? I'm Shivam Pandey. This is How to Game Dev, and welcome to the third part on creating a hyper-casual game in Unity. In this part, we are going to sum up everything we have created and we are going to finish our game coming up. Before starting, please subscribe to my channel TheTechpreneurs and press the bell icon so that you can be notified each time I post a new video. Also, the full version of the game we are creating is now available on the Google Play Store. You can go there and download it. The link is down in the description. And let's continue. Now we are done with our truck script, land, plane and missile. Now we need some way for our trucks to be spawned in the game scene. So we'll go to the scripts and create a new C# script and name it as truck spawn src. The T should be big here. I want it to be big. The truck spawn src and open it on Visual Studio. Now this is our truck spawn script. I am going to remove these two tags and I am going to start by adding a private int and naming it as CNT. That will be our counter. In the start I'll assign 0 to our CNT, and in our update function we'll write CNT++. Now this semicolon. Now if CNT is greater than or equal to 200, then our truck would be spawned. For spawning our truck, we need a public reference to our truck, that is public game object truck. Okay, and now we are going to instantiate the truck. Instantiate truck. Okay, and transform dot position, the position of the spawn point, and transform dot rotation. I want this truck to be spawned with the same rotation as that of our spawn point, because our trucks are moving in both direction, from left to right and also from the right to left direction. So that's all we need, and I'm going back to Unity now. Now in Unity I am going to create the spawn points for a truck. Firstly I'll create the parent game object, that is truck spawn points. I'll reset its transform. Now I'll create the first spawn point and name it as spawn left. Yes, and I'm going back to the scene and I'm setting its position to -40. I'll duplicate it and rename it as spawn right and setting its position to 40, and also its rotation in y-axis to 180, because our truck will spawn here, and if its rotation is 180 then the truck's rotation is also 180, and now it will start moving in the left direction. So we want the truck to move in the direction of the screen at instantiation. I am selecting both of the components and adding the truck spawn script here. Truck spawn script I have added it. I am locking the screen and I am going to add the truck prefab here. Now that's all we need now, and I'm going to hit play and see what happens. I forgot one thing here. I'm going to add CNT equals to 0, because each time the counter is equal to 200 it should reset to 0 and then again start counting, else we have infinitely many trucks in our scene. Now let's get back. Now if I hit play in Unity and go to the scene window, you can see that the trucks are spawning from the spawn points and they are moving in the correct direction, and they are visible in the screen also. But as you can see that when they are colliding with each other, they are not ignoring this collision. We want that the trucks should ignore collision with themselves and pass away like that. We do not want it to collide like this. So to solve this problem we'll use the help of layers. For that I'll go to the truck prefab, open the prefab, and you can see the layer now here is default. I'll select and add a new layer and name it as truck layer. Now I'll assign this truck this this truck layer to this truck, Now each time the truck is spawned, that spawned truck would have a layer named the truck layer. Now to ignore collision between two truck layers, we'll go to the edit menu and then the project settings. Now we'll go to the physics 2D option, and here you can see it is the layer collision matrix. This shows that which layer will collide with which layer, and you can see that there is this box, that is the truck layer to truck layer box, and if I uncheck this, then it will ignore the collision between two truck layers. That means if two trucks are colliding, then it will ignore the collision. Now if you hit play and see when the trucks are approaching near, because of the same layer, that is the truck layer, these two are ignoring collision. But if I hit a missile now, yes, you can see the missile is being destroyed. That means they are detecting collision with other things except those game objects that are having the truck layer in them. Now we need to create the UI for our score. For that I am going to right click and click on UI and TMP text. This text is far better than the normal text in Unity. And you can import TMP components by going to here, Text Mesh Pro, Windows Text Mesh Pro, and you can import these two. Example and extras and essential resources these are very important. Now selecting the Text Mesh Pro text, I'll rename it as score and text to 0. I'll change the color to black and I'll center it. Change the font size to 40 and change it to be bold, and the font asset I want is electronic highway sign SD. Now I need to create a script for this score, so I'm going to create a new C# script and name it as score src and open it on Visual Studio. So this is our score script, and I'm going to remove these two using tags. And as I'm using Text Mesh Pro, I'm going to import the TM Pro package. Also I want to create a public integer here, public int, and name it as score. The score at the start would always be 0, and the text of this component should be equal to the score. So this dot get component in children TMP text, as we are using text mesh pro, dot text equals to score, and now we need to typecast it to string and like that. So this means that the text of this game object is always equal to the score, the integer score, and from other scripts we are going to change this score. If the missile hits the truck, then the score will increment by 1, and if the missile hits the land, then the score will reset back to 0. So save this script and go back to Unity. Now assign the score script to the score game object. I'm going to assign this to the score game object, and you can see the public integer score displaying here. Now I'm going back to my scripts and going to the missile script, and here we can increment our score. If missile is colliding with the truck, then find object of type score src will catch the script in which we have the score dot score, that is the integer, and plus plus, so we are going to increment it by 1. Also, when the missile is hitting the truck, we should destroy truck also, so we are going to destroy collision.gameObject. So this means that when missile is colliding with truck itself, it would also be destroyed, and it will destroy the truck also, and it will increment the score. Now when it is colliding with the land, we are going to find object of type score src, and in this we are going to reset our score to 0, and we are not destroying the land because it would cause errors. Now you can see our script for missile is completed. We are saving it and going back to Unity now. Now if I hit play in Unity and start playing the game, you can see it is pretty much almost complete. And if I spawn a missile, it is hitting the land and score is 0, resetting to 0. If it is hitting the truck, you can see the score has incremented to 1. Again it is hitting the truck and score has incremented to 2. And if I am hitting the ground, then score is resetting back to 0. Also when the missile hits the truck is being destroyed. So now almost everything is done. Now we need to add some buttons to change its direction, and also to spawn missiles only when we are clicking on the right side. So let's do it. Now we need to add the functionality that if we click on the left side, then the plane should change its direction, and if we click on the right side, then the plane should spawn bombs or the missiles. So we are going to the canvas and adding a UI element, that is button. I'll rename it as direction button. It will change the direction of the plane. I'm removing the text component, we do not need it, and I'm setting its anchor to the left middle, changing its position to 0. Then I'm going back to my scene, focusing on the button. Now I can change its position and the scale the way I want, like this. Let's scale it up a bit, scale it down a bit, and now you can see the button is fitting on the left side of the screen. I'll scale it up a bit now. Yes, that's good. Yeah, that's okay. Now to make our canvas generic, what we can do is we can go to the canvas and we can add a component canvas scaler, and we'll use in the UI scale method, we'll use that scale with the screen size. So the size of the canvas will always be related or always be proportional to the size of the screen, no matter it is big or small. So I'm going back to Unity, I'll color it black now, and I'm creating another button here. I'll rename it as the shoot button. Okay, and I'm resetting its anchor to the right middle, changing its position to 0 and changing its color to white. Now you can see we have two buttons here. If we are clicking on this button, then the plane should move, plane should change its direction, and if we click on the right button, then plane should spawn bombs. Now you can see the background is not visible, so we can go to the color and change the alpha to 0. Now the buttons are not visible, but their functionality will still remain in our scene. Now you can see that we have an on click method on both the buttons, and we need to specify some functions for this on click method. Then only our function or our buttons would work properly. Now I go back to the plain script and add two new public functions here. First is public void, that is change direction. This function would be called when we click the left side of the screen or the left button. And next is public void spawn or public void shoot function. And this function would be called when we click on the right side or the right button on our screen. Now in the change direction function, if the plane is moving right, then we should change its direction to left, that is moving right equals to false. And if it's moving left, that is if it's moving left, then we should change its direction to right, that means moving right is equal to true. So if it's moving right, then moving right is false. If it's not moving right, then moving right equals to true. So this function is completed now, and for the shoot function we need to edit the missile spawn function. Here we are going to add another public function, public void spawn missile function, and in this function we are going to add these two scripts, copy these two lines of code and paste here. And we do not need these things now, so I'm going to remove the void update function. And now we are going to call this function from the plain script, and we are going to firstly catch the script find object of type missile spawn, and here spawn missile. Yes, now we are done with our functions in the script. Let's go back to Unity. Now here if I add the on click method on my direction button, I am using the plane because we have specified in plane script these two functions, and going to the plane src and selecting the change direction function which we have created earlier. In the shoot button, I'm going to the on click method. Again I'm selecting plane here, and in the function I'm going to select the plane src and the shoot function, and I'll save it. And when I hit play now, you can see if we click on the left side of the screen, then the plane is changing its direction, and if we click on the right side of the screen, then the plane is spawning missiles. So we are done with our work. Now we are done with our game, and to add more fun to our game, I have imported a particle system into our project. You can download it from the description, and if I put it on our game scene, you can see that the material is missing here. So I'm unpacking it completely, creating a new material, part mat, and I'm going to specify the color to black, metallic to 1, smooth to 1. Now I assign it to the burst part 1 and the FX explosion fire. Then I am replacing this with the older asset and deleting from here. Now I am putting the burst particle to the prefab folder and creating a new folder as materials, and put this material here. Now if I go back to my missile script, we can add a public game object as burst part here, and if it is hitting the land, if the missile is hitting the land, then I am going to instantiate this particle, and also if it is hitting the truck, then this particle system will instantiate. So instantiating the particle system, instantiate burst part, comma transform dot position, the position of the missile and its identity for the rotation. I'll copy this and paste it here. Also, if our missile is touching the land, then we need to show a sign to the players that they have done something wrong. So as we are creating an Android game, we can add vibration to our device. So for that we can use handheld.vibrate. This function, if our missile is going to hit the land, then the score is resetting to 0 and our mobile device will vibrate. This will give a sign to the users that they have done something wrong. And since this vibrate function is also only applicable with the mobile devices, not with the desktop, so we can check, make a check here that if application dot is mobile platform, that means if we are using this game in mobile, then handheld.vibrate, or then only the device will vibrate, or this function would be called, else an error would be raised. So we are done here. We'll go back to Unity now. Now in Unity you can see that if we are clicking, the bombs are spawning, and when they are being destroyed, these particle systems are being instantiated. But as you can see that after their work is done, they are not being destroyed. So we need to add a script to do that. I'll go to the scripts panel and right click, create a new C# script and name it as art destroy, and open it with Visual Studio. In this we'll write a simple code. We'll remove all the unwanted things, and in the start function we'll write destroy this dot game object and 2f. So after 2 seconds this game object would be destroyed. Now in the Unity editor we'll go to our burst particle prefab and assign it the particle destroy script. Yes, we have saved it. here. Okay, we are assigning this to the particle system, and if I hit play, now you can see that when these particles are instantiating, after 2 seconds these particles are destroying themselves with the script we have created. Now we have completed our game. You can play and build your game by going to the file and build setting. You can switch your platform from PC to Android and switch the platform and build in your Android devices. You can also build this game in PC, Mac, Linux and standalone platform also, but for that you have to remove the handheld.vibrate function which we earlier used in the missile script, else it will show an error. So this is the final product that we have created. I'm going to play it now. You can see a land, a score system, a plane, and if I click on the left side, the plane is changing its direction. If I click on the right side, it is spawning some missiles. If I hit the truck with my missile, then the score is increasing by 1, and if I hit the land, then the score is resetting back to 0. Also, you can see the trucks are not colliding with each other, and you can see the beautiful particle system which we get when we instantiate or when we hit a missile with land or truck. So this is the final product you created after this tutorial series.
They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they are all the same. Thanks for watching this video. All the scripts and assets used in this video are in my how to game dev blog. The link is down in the description. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Also, you can press the bell icon so that you can be notified each time I post a new video. And make sure to share this video with all your game dev friends, and feel free to comment your views, opinions, suggestions, queries down in the comment section. Also tell me which future videos you want. Till then, dream big, hustle hard and keep watching How to Game Dev.